Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're taking a look at Jennie, the Centrosaurus. PNSO has been on a ceratopsian kick. This is the third straight release of a ceratopsian in the line. The Centrosaurus is the second one. I should have the Styracosaurus probably in the next couple weeks. I ended up ordering this figure from PNSO storefront on AliExpress. Figure retails for just over $36. And I prefer ordering from AliExpress versus from ordering PNSO on Amazon. That's because AliExpress has free shipping. If you order from them on Amazon, you're going to get whacked about $8 to $10. So if you want to save a few bucks, AliExpress is the way to go. And I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to order it from AliExpress. So let's just go with the package really quick before we take a closer look at Jennie. We got a picture of her on the front of the box. It's part of the Prehistoric Animal Models line. It is number 60. Top of the box, we have a close-up of Jennie's head. That's it for the packaging. And inside the box, you do get a pamphlet with some information about Centrosaurus. You do get some nice artwork and pictures of the model. And mercifully, you only get one poster in the box, which I am a-okay with, because when you get 20, that kind of drives up the price a little bit. So let's zoom out a little bit and get a look at this artwork. Sorry for all the glare from my studio lights, but man, I much prefer the color scheme on this artwork versus what we got on the figure. But we'll get into that paint scheme very shortly. So let's pop Jennie up on the turntable and take a closer look. So let's start in this 360-degree view of Jennie. This is a great looking Centrosaurus figure. I think it's one of the best ceratopsian PNSO has done so far. And it's really surprising that it's taken so long for us to get Centrosaurus figures. It's such a well-known ceratopsian. There's bone beds with thousands of bones in it. We probably know more about Centrosaurus than any other ceratopsian species. And what a great year it's been for the species. We now have 4 figures of Centrosaurus. Yeah, 3 of them are all from the same company, but it's been a pretty good year if you're a fan of Centrosaurus. And this is a model I've been waiting a long time for. I love my Beasts of the Mesozoic ones, but I really wanted a smaller scale one to fit in with my collection. And this figure definitely fits the bill. The paint scheme, you know, it's obviously not as nice as the pictures on the box art, but that is pretty typical of Mattel. But I will say, I saw a few other people's in-hand images, and the paint scheme looked absolutely atrocious. Now that I have it in hand, it's really not that bad. It must have just been the lighting, but you know, the tones aren't as crisp as it is on the promotional pics. I do miss that little highlight of purple on the finestras of the frill. It's just pretty much a straight blue, but like I said, it's pretty typical of PNSO to not have, you know, the paint apps match on the figure versus on the box. But I have to say, all those nice earth tones on the body do blend pretty well together, and they look really nice up close. And the scale detail, PNSO's real dialed back. The oversized scales, they really hit their stride right now. A lot of fine scale detail on this figure, and I think it's a great looking Centrosaurus, and it's definitely right now one of my favorite figures from them this year. Now let's just do a couple quick measurements. This figure, if you measure along the curve of the tail, is about 6 1/3 inches long and just under 3 inches tall. So Centrosaurus in real life was between 18 to 20 feet long. So I'll put this figure somewhere in the 134 to the 138 scale range. So if you collect 135 scale, this figure is going to fit perfectly in your collection. All right, let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this gorgeous head sculpt. Like I said, I really like this figure. It looks so much better in person. The nose horn is beautifully sculpted. You actually even got some like growth ridges on the horn, which I think is a great touch. The eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. A lot of nice scale detail all over the head. You can see the nostril sculpting right here, a little bit of pink paint. They went with the no lips again. So this is actually a seam line because the whole top of this is just a separate piece. There is no jaw articulation, but man, that looks so much better than the previously released Triceratops. I really just, you know, not a fan of how PNSO does the jaw articulation, especially on their ceratopsians. And then you get some nice bony brow bumps right here. I guess that's what they're called. On the front, the ornamentation is nicely sculpted, and you can see that bright blue on the finestras. Yeah, you can barely make it up right there. There is just a very tiny hint of purple, but it's not as vibrant as it is in the promotional images. All the knobs and spikes along the side of the frill are nicely sculpted and painted. And then let's get the camera to focus in. Going down to the neck, you can see some nice scale detail, folds and wrinkles. Like I said, up close, this figure has some wonderful, wonderful detail. Some large scales sculpted in, mixed in with all that pebbly looking scale. I'm so glad that they scaled back, you know, the size of the scales. God, I'm using that word so much. It just makes the figures look so much better. You know, over texturing really doesn't bug me as it does some other people, but it's nice to see that this is, you know, in scale with the figure. Going down to the front legs, you can see the toe claws are nicely sculpted. You got some nice muscle detail on the front legs. Going down to the hind legs, you can see, you know, all those earth tones mixing in. You got some dark brown right here mixing in with the light brown. Just a little dry brush in the yellow, and you actually have a little bit of rusty orange. So yeah, the paint apps, you know, not as, you know, vibrant as is on the promotional images, but they are there, and it does look nice in person. And turn the figure over, we've got some nice large belly scales. Even the undersides of the feet are nicely sculpted. Going down to the hind legs, nice powerful muscles sculpted in. Some more large scales all over the thigh. Got some nice folds and wrinkles near the base of the tail. And looking at the figure from the top, nice wide hips and a nice chunky belly. And then the tail does curve slightly to the left. If my, come on camera, there we go. You get some more of that dark brown banding on the tail. And let's do our dinosaur butthole check. There it is right there. There's the cloaca. So yeah, really enjoying this figure. It looks really nice in person, and I think my favorite touch on it is just those growth rings on the horn. That is really cool looking. So yeah, quite happy with this thing. All right, moving on with comparisons. Let's compare it to the other Centrosaur figures that came out about a year ago. Here is the Beast of the Mesozoic adult Centrosaurus. Here is the juvenile, you know, Dino Riders Monoclonius. And here is the juvenile Centrosaurus. Let me just pull my camera out and let's line everyone up. So yeah, if you're a fan of Centrosaurus, it's been a really good year. You know, all four of these figures are great, and you know why I have them out. You know, this figure cost over $36. Yeah, you know, the prices of everything is going up lately, but these smaller Beast of the Mesozoic Centrosaur figures, they only cost 50 bucks. They're $14 more than this little one right here, and these are multiple parts, fully articulated, and they have way better paint jobs. So you know, I love PNSO. It's a very popular company. They come out pretty much, you know, a lot of definitive versions of dinosaur species, but their sculpting's good, but their paint apps are really lacking. They really got to step it up to justify the prices that, even though we all complain, we just keep buying them and buying them. But you know, even these are made in China, and so is this. And you know, for 14 bucks more, this is a much better value. And next up, here it is with PNSO's Iguanodon. And next up, here it is with Wilson. And let's do a couple Tyrannosaurs that actually lived alongside Centrosaurus. Here it is with the Papo Gorgosaurus that really doesn't want to stand right now. And here it is with Safari Limited. Daspletosaurus. Would really love PNSO to see their take on these two Tyrannosaur species, especially Daspletosaurus, one of my favorite Tyrannosaurs. And now let's compare it next to the rest of PNSO Ceratopsians. Here it is with their Triceratops, Sinoceratops, Pachyrhinosaurus, Spinops. Let's try to get them all into frame. And here it is with their Machairoceratops. So yeah, PNSO's been doing a really good job of giving us some nice variety with their Ceratopsians. They all scale pretty well with each other, but one thing I like to point out, like I said, you know, $36 figure, it's really not that big, not the best painted. Their Pachyrhinosaurus, which is bigger and I think has much better paint apps, is only 22 bucks. So, you know, take that as what it is. So let's end the comparisons on a nice dinosaur park formation group shot, a formation that had a very diverse offering of dinosaur species. And there's a lot of figures in this picture, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of species that need to get made into figures. So we have the PNSO Corythosaurus, Spinops, here's the Centrosaurus, their mini Chasmosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Lambeosaurus, here's the Papogorgosaurus again, the Batat Euoplocephalus, the Safari Limited Gripposaurus, their Daspletosaurus, Vegaceratops, and Styracosaurus. So final thoughts on PNSO Centrosaurus. I think this is the definitive figure of this species. Only one other company has made Centrosaurus, and that's Beast of the Mesozoic, and some of those figures may be too large for what people collect, and this one fits nicely in that 1/35 scale, so I see a lot of people picking this figure up, and it's a beautiful sculpted figure. I just love all the details on it. The paint apps are lacking, which is pretty much par for the course for PNSO. Everyone's kind of critical of their paint schemes, and their prices keep going up, but we keep buying their figures, so I don't know what needs to be done to get them to just do some better paint apps and make their figures look so much better. But like I said, the paint apps really aren't that bad. It looks so much better in person. All those earth tones really blend nicely together. Just wish there was a little bit more of that purple on the blue on the Fenestra. But other than that, I am quite happy with this figure. Like I said at the beginning of the review, you can order this figure from PNSO storefront on AliExpress. The link to that is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I should have the PNSO Styracosaurus in about a week or two. It already shipped from China. It looks like PNSO is back to releasing new figures every week, and they finally released a figure people have been waiting for, a larger version of their Spinosaurus. I also have a couple Jurassic World reviews to catch up on, and GR Toys came out with a Quetzalcoatlus, and they did no mention of it. It just randomly popped up in my recommendations on AliExpress, so I ordered that figure. Should have that in a couple weeks, so be on the lookout for all those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys for the next one.